All right, guys, I'm starting out here on dynamic position system just for, I don't want to piss off the guy at the fuel dock basically, but your day is going to start here, simulating that you are in a marina. Here is your battery bank. Depending on whether you've been plugged into shore power, and let's assume that 99% of you will, your house is probably going to be on. Your emergency parallels will be off, but you will need to turn on starboard engine battery bank, port engine battery bank, and potentially auxiliary battery bank, and that is your generator and other large items attached to that one. You can parallel them all, so that's in an emergency situation, and these are your C-zone switches. Basically they stay on, and then you've got 12 volts related to your house, 24 volts related to your engines, and then you've got all of the individual breakers all marked clearly there. So basically on, and probably already on, close, and then we go straight to the C-zone, which is in here on this boat. Really bloody simple. I love this system. You'll just go from dock unattended to cruising. Okay, so that's what that's doing in the back end, is switching on all the necessary switches so you are ready to rock and roll for the day. Then you will likely do generator start, okay, and then what's going to happen when you disconnect your shore power cable, which is out the back here. This is a US boat, so it's got a slightly different cable. It's got the self-retracting system. It's going to automatically go from shore to ship's power. Okay, so disconnect shore power, retract the cable, stow that, and then come straight here on starboard, and you look below the water line just forward of me, and you can see the exhaust of the generator. It's below the water line to make it quieter for you, so that you don't have the exhaust smells and the noise, but you just want to check that that is pumping. So we've got flow, and then we go straight up to the helm. Obviously these doors are probably already open. You don't really have much in the way of covers like a European boat to remove. There's just one little cover over the bow lounge, which we haven't even removed yet. Then we get to the helm. So we literally have, this is the Volvo Penta ignition system. There is a security fob that if you had it secured, you would wave it over the thing to unlock it first. Then you would go ignition, green light, check neutral on the throttle, and then one engine at a time, you would just press, and it goes through the starting procedure. The reason why you don't do two is the cranking amps is quite a high amount of amps required, so that doesn't seem logical. So just do one at a time. Then you can activate power on your dashes, and we can select whether you want engine diagnostics, navigation, depth, whatever you like. You can see that we have another C-zone just here, okay? But obviously we're not in a marina, we're actually just out in the middle, but we'll right now give you a little demo of what your life could be like. So you've fired up the engines, we're in idle. Before you leave the dock, you want to do a test of the systems to make sure you're engaging and disengaging. So what I'll actually do, just look around, I can see through all clear. I'm actually just going to go to docking, and then I'm just going to side slip the boat to port ever so slightly. I've got the 725 horsepower on each motor on these IPS Volvos, but the actual horsepower is quite a bit more because of the way IPS drives are designed when compared to shafts. I'll explain that in the comments if that doesn't make sense. And so what we can do, by side slipping the boat to port, I can then also hold station. This dynamic positioning system is so freaking good, you can actually, as we are right now, hold station in the middle of a marina. You can even do it in your berth. It's that good. So the technology is at a stage where you release the fenders, you drop the lines, depending on whether they're your lines or whether you're at someone else's dock. You might actually stow the fenders in this locker right here on the center line. We've got more stowage for fenders up in the bow as well. And then we've, again, depending on whether the lines of yours are on the dock or you're taking them with you, you could stow lines in here, same again on the other side. And that locker just on the starboard aft quarter is a good place for stowage of extra lines. We even have another deep kind of looks like a bit of an esky type setup, but more storage below my feet just here. So you've got multiple places, and see how I'm not stressed. Like, this is not moving anywhere. We are not attached to anything. And if you just draw a line of sight from the boat to the land behind us, this boat ain't going nowhere. And there is a little bit of wind right now, and tide, not so much tide. There would be more tide out in the river, or on the Broadwater, I should say. So yeah, your life could be quite relaxed. Your guests can be chill in this area or in the main part of the saloon, and you can just manage the operations because we've got clear access forward on both sides. Definitely be leaving the berth using your wing station, because your line of sight's up the side of the boat and around is probably going to be better. But when you're ready to rock and roll, you can just leave this station and go straight to the primary helm. Okay guys, we're starting this part of the test on the inshore part of the Broadwater. I'm just going to take you through a tight turn at speed. We're doing that at 24.9 to 25 knots, clear to port, and I'm just going to give myself a little bit more room and hook the boat in. Okay. So if you're looking aft like I am, you do have a little bit of a loss of visibility from this kitchen, but through the windscreens it's fine. Obviously from a seated position, this is an aggressive turn. You're not going to be doing this from day to day, but if I'm sure many of you are going to want to know, just going through my own waves in a second, and a little bit of chop which is mixed up from the tide, so we're going to hit that in about 3 seconds. 5, 4, 3, and on us now. And you can actually notice with these SUV hulls, the extra flare designed into the hull does send a lot of that extra wash out and to the side. So this is going to be one of the drier hulls in the model range. So I'm just going to bring up the rev range, 2,140 RPM. I'm seeing a GPS speed of 23 knots. We're going into the tide, so we're going to be doing this test in both directions. So I'm just going to cruise at the moment and just try and describe what we are learning. I've got green on the right, red on the left, clear for traffic up ahead and into the tide. Okay, all good. And then when I get to the end of this runway, I'm going to actually bring the boat to a standstill and do a full speed run to wide open throttle, and then we're going to turn around and do it back with the tide, so you can get an accurate description before we then take the boat from here out into the ocean. So from an ergonomics perspective, we've got these seats very, very comfortable for long runs. I've chosen to stand. I love this big window. This is a big sliding window. It gives me a lot of options just here. Really, really good viz. Obviously, when you're doing the high performance turn, which I don't see a lot of people doing that regularly, on a boat like this, you do need to duck your head, so just pay attention, not necessary when looking to starboard. And bow raise on acceleration, sort of minimal. You do notice the horsepower on this boat. She's got a bit of get up and go. So now we're just sitting at 25 knots SOG. We're consuming 211 litres total, and that's giving us 2,230 RPM, 75% engine load. Feels good. Back doors open, noise levels minimal. Really, really comfortable. This is good. Got one small boat, he's actually diverting, so I think I'm going to be okay to hold this speed and increase. Okay, let's just get it up to what feels like 80% load, 225 litres consumption, and 27, almost to 28 knots SOG. Just got some boat wash on us in 3, 2, 1. That's nice. I didn't adjust my angle of attack. I just let the boat handle that one. And now I'm seeing 28 knots, 28 knots. I've got some traffic up ahead, so I am going to come off the plane and we're going to prepare for our speed run. So that feels good, you know, anywhere in that 75 to 80% engine load, this thing feels great. We're just going to line up for the speed run. I've got port marker on the left, got moored boats on the right. I'm just going to watch for traffic I think I'm all good. 1, 2 red. And confirming my line. I'm actually going to do from a standstill. We'll just watch our stern wave behind us. Let that catch up. Waves dissipating. Stop the boat. Okay. Clear on traffic. Everything's looking good. Let's just do full speed run until we get wide open throttle. Okay, up to 1500, 1600 revs, bow raise on acceleration just there. Nothing that's going to hinder your visibility from a safety perspective. I'm just going to watch my line, just bring it back to the center line. We are a dropping tide at the moment, 2,200 RPM. I'm coming through 25 knots. I'm still slowly accelerating. 27 knots, 28 knots, 29 knots. I'm now reaching 100% engine load. I've got the Volvo trim set to auto. I'm seeing 32 knots and climbing. I'm seeing 32.8 knots, 2,560 RPM. A fuel consumption of 270 litres. Seems to be consistent at the moment. And I'm seeing a consistent 33 knots SOG right now. Comfortable. Engine load has varied now that we're up on the plane and rolling, and we're back to 92%. Look at that, engine loads, yeah, hovering around about 92% there. Okay, green marker to the right, red marker to the left, 33 knots. Let's come off the plane, and we're going into the tide here, guys. Let's kill that speed. I'm going to do a slow, tight turn here, then we're going to do the same thing in the other direction. The tide's starting to run out, probably up to a knot or two now. Okay, so we'll check for traffic. Got one boat coming down at high speed. I think we're going to be well before him. All right, looks like we're clear to port. Settle down. And turning. Okay, so now I'm going to have red on the right, green on the left. Yep, we can see that tide moving, so we really should see a speed increase here. And let's accelerate before we get this jet boat coming up our ass. And let's do this. Red on the right, green on the left. Accelerate. Okay, 1700 RPM, 1800 RPM, 1900, 2000, 20 knots and climbing, 23 knots and climbing. I can see red, red, green, 28 knots and climbing, 29 knots, 30 knots. Okay, we're up to speed a lot quicker now. 32 knots, 33 knots, 34 knots, 35 knots, 270 litres consumption. I'm at 91% engine load. My fuel consumption's just dropped a tad, 35.4 knots, 35.5 knots, 90% engine load. And this thing's sweet. It's smooth. Engine noises, super bearable. Green on the left, red on the right. I'm looking good, tracks are good. And what we're gonna do is actually just carry this speed past this Valhalla 55. I've got a police boat coming up at speed, so I will come off the plane. I'll just let these guys work out which side of the channel they're gonna be, and then I'm gonna pick my line through them at a safe speed. Okay, 25 knots. I'm gonna take the right side of the channel. Okay guys, we've come out into the ocean, just straight offshore from the Gold Coast. A marked difference from the conditions we had yesterday, which are real lumpy, short, sharp. We're back to just sort of the rolly stuff. Not a lot to speak of, pretty much under a metre, but it is proper ocean. So here we are, 2,180 RPM, just cruising along at 26.5 SOG. I might just bump that up ever so slightly. We've just closed the back door, so that gives you a feeling for the noise levels, and I'll actually keep that window closed now. 27 to 28 knots, super comfy. I'm burning 210 litres an hour. I'm actually just gonna, you know what, you'd be so happy, I reckon, sitting around about that 2,180 or just under 2,200 revs, And look at that, fuel flow just under 200 litres now, 199, giving me basically 27 knots. You could sit on this all day. This is why you buy a Riviera. Happy days. Put my feet up on the footrest. Yes, love it. Okay, so let's clear this area and go into some swells. And I'm just going to maintain this speed. It's not about going as fast as we can now. So the swells are coming from an easterly direction, so we're going to go into them now. About some of the bigger ones, probably no more than a metre. So what are we talking to our American friends? About 3 feet max, and just rolling over them now. And I might even start to put the boat into a couple little S-turns, just feel that performance. Great. I can see the spray just parting to the side, and if I was in bigger waves, that flare would be doing its job and sending more of that spray out into the side. And let's actually start to bank through a few turns. A little bit more speed. Okay, bump my fuel consumption up to 230 litres total. I'm seeing almost 28 knots now. Super comfy. Heel angles, really, really comfortable. You're not going to scare any friends with this. Noise levels are great. Thick hull, lots of insulation, well insulated engine bay aft of the main saloon. Noise is out the back. We're comfortable. This is what it all comes down to when you want to eat up some offshore miles and be comfortable. I love this big opening window. Oh, look at that. Oh man, what a pleasurable way to drive. This is great. That's lovely. I love that. Awesome. And it's simple. No complex machinery there, like drop down windows, which could go wrong on you. Let's take that swell, what's left of it, on the beam. Skipping along just nicely. I might even give it a little bit more power, why not? Even though it's not a full speed in the ocean test. 29 knots. Man, I gotta say, this is quite a fun, sporty feeling for a big boat. You know, I wouldn't be trying to advertise this to someone who's an out-and-out racer and expects, you know, ultra high performance, but if you do enjoy driving your boats, this is definitely one that's quite a pleasurable thing to drive. That's great fun. Yeah, let's just give it a little bit of juice. Why not? 30 knots, 31, sun setting. How could you complain, guys? We'll just carry that down swell into those waves. We just haven't taken any spray up and over the decks. I'm sure you can. If you get lumpy, if it gets lumpy enough, steep enough, you'll do it, but you're gonna be comfortable on this thing. This is exceptional. All right, guys, I hope that was useful. That's the 505 SUV. So I got my notes, some performance feedback, quality and competition for you to consider. And I hope you enjoy this wonderful background. We do put in a bit of effort for you guys to make this happen. Performance feedback around the dock, offshore, inshore, crew, noise and comfort levels. So around the dock, I gotta say, even though you don't have the side opening door with the dynamic positioning system, this is a really easy boat to operate because you've got wonderful wide decks, and this walk around space right here makes it a vessel with the DPS that you can operate solo. We have sensibly placed storage for lines and fenders. We've got really good grab handles all the way around, excellent access all the way around the outside of the boat. So whilst we don't have that side door, I think those big sliding windows makes up for it. And then the wing station and the primary helm, this is an easy boat to use, and she's a pleasure to drive. So around the dock, very, very happy. offshore. Okay, these are the conditions we've got, but I get a feel for hulls. I have driven over 1,000 of them, so I do like this SUV series. I think that extra flair is going to favour someone who wants to do a little bit more offshore cruising, and this thing is a pleasure to drive. It's not just a pleasure in terms of the comfort levels, the noise levels, the vibrations, everything is low and luxurious. It's fun. I got a bit of a buzz. Like, this is actually quite an enjoyable thing to burn around in. It's got some oomph, so that's good. And you notice it in the ocean. You can, if the conditions are right, sit on 27 knots all day long, burn 200 litres of fuel. Excellent. Inshore, well, we saw 35. Like, she's a bit of a race machine if she wants to be, or if you want her to be. And yeah, good fun. Like, nicely trimmed. I just had the Volvo Interceptors on auto all day long. They did their job. It just gave more time for me to focus on situational awareness rather than having to focus on trimming the boat, basically. So that was great. Crew, how many people do you need to run this boat? Depends on your skill set or your skill level. If you are buying this as your first boat, make sure you have someone who is competent, who can assist you. If you know what you're doing and you have if you have a decent pen that's easy enough to get in and out of, and you've built your checklist or your systems to operate the boat in and out of your own berth, you can definitely run this thing solo. Absolutely, not a problem. The noise and comfort levels are excellent. This is premium. This is right at the top range. In my observation, when you close those doors, the placement of the engine bay after the main saloon, and just the construction of the boat, there ain't no rattles. Nothing's creaking. You don't feel flexing or any of that. So that's good. Quality, it's a Riviera. I consider this one of the standards that the whole world should be following. So you cannot knock the quality. Competition, I can think of a few boats that may or may not make sense to some of you. The Sabre 51 Salon Express, they are actually a really good company. Different styling, down east styling from up there in Maine, the US. I've driven quite a few of their boats. Not that model, but that might be a fair competition. Grand Banks 54, maybe. It's a flybridge, but there could be some crossover with some of you. Blue Game BG 54, very different. Maybe worth an observation. Possibly a fairer comparison if you're wanting to use a boat like this in the Med, and maybe not so much America and Australia, but you do you and have a think. Maritimo S55, haven't had a lot to do with Maritimo, so I'd need to do some more homework, but I know it's there. Left field, a little bit weird, not on the same quality spectrum. Beneteau 54 Swift Trawler, maybe. Jump in the comments if you agree or disagree. And the Aquila 50 yacht, once again, maybe. It's a catamaran, obviously very different, but I can see some similarities for the use case. So yeah, that's it, guys. I hope that was useful. Don't forget to like, subscribe. If you want to talk to me and ask me specific questions about how this compares against another boat that you're trying to purchase, as so many of you appear to be interested in doing, you are welcome to do that, but you can only do it on Monect. There's enough free content up here on YouTube. I can't get around to responding to all the DMs. You can contact me on Monect. I hope that was useful. I'll pop some competition up on the screen. Go ahead and watch it and use it to improve your boat life. See you coming from beautiful, sunny Queensland. It's almost winter here, by the way. How good is this place? See you next time, guys. Love you lots.